Compassion, a strong word. It means sympathetic pity for and concern for sufferings or misfortunes of others. If someone shows kindness, caring, and or a willingness to help others, they're showing compassion. This is a word for a very positive emotion that has to do with being thoughtful. Say, for instance, you give half your paycheck to charity. That's giving away half your hard-earned money, but you decided to put others in front of you and have compassion. Or another example is like volunteering to work with sick people or working at an animal shelter. You're working for free and giving back to the community. To me, compassion is a big thing in my life. I love to help others. Plus, when people see you doing something for the community, it makes them want to do it, and next thing you know, everybody's doing it. A little story about how compassion affected me. A few years back, when I lost the most important person in my life, my mama, I thought I'd lost everything, and I told myself there's no reason to live anymore. But I was wrong, as usual. Everyone around me had my back and always showed compassion towards me. And if I needed anything, they were always there for me. Still to this day, I always try to help others, and mostly people with depression or anxiety, because I hate seeing people that are always down and don't want anything to do. If my friends are in need, I always try to reach out and help them. Say, for instance, someone's not having a great day. I always try my best just to put a smile on their face. In the Bible, Proverbs 31:8-9 say, "Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy." Thank you for your time.
Compassion is free. It does not cost us anything. Compassion means to always be there for someone, to build up one another after they have been torn down. Today the world is so focused on tearing you down for your flaws because they envy your beauty. People love to judge you, make fun of you, and hurt you with words. I can say that with confidence because I have too been torn down to nothing many, many times. But every time I am a pile of eroding rubble, there has always been a person to build me back up and remind me of who I truly am. My favorite quote is, "Be the woman who fixes another woman's crown without telling the world that it was crooked," by Caleb Boyd. The quote means to be kind because you genuinely want to be kind, not because you are doing it for attention. Today there are a lot of kind people who get lots of praise for it. The person who shows kindness behind the scenes when no one is watching always shows compassion, even if they don't have a crowd witnessing it. I used to be a baseball player. I'm also female. Being a baseball player and a female is like mixing oil with water. I was a great player, but the male players did not care. A female is playing a so-called boy sport, so she should not be out there. The male players on my team accepted me, however opposing teams did not. As I would be up to bat, they would shout rude, sexist, and degrading comments, most of which I took to heart. The pitcher would purposely throw balls as hard as he could at my head or chest, or sometimes he would throw 4 balls in the dirt, giving me nothing to hit. When I would play pitcher, the boys on opposing teams would shout, "Let me see your headlights. You shouldn't be out here," or "Learn to play like a boy," just to name a few. As a 12 or 13-year-old girl, it was hard hearing that every time I played, but what got me through it was the people that stood behind me. My mom and my dad and my best friend Kent. They constantly reminded me that no matter what anybody told me, I was good enough. During elementary and middle school, I had a really tough time fitting in. I was different than most of the kids in my classes. I had different interests, and kids didn't really like being around me. A constant question I would get asked on a daily basis was, "Maddie, why are you so weird?" Or, "Maddie, why can't you be normal?" I would be called loser, weirdo, stupid, or idiot. All I tried to do was fit in. I never could really understand why this happened. I always thought there might be something wrong with me. I got down on myself a lot because of it. Don't get me wrong, I had friends, but I wanted people to be nice and not judge me for who I am. My freshman year, I had a teacher named Miss Jones. She taught my least favorite subject, algebra. Although I despised what she taught, I loved being in her classroom. We often have teachers who don't care. They're just there for the paycheck. But Mrs. Jones was different. She wanted to be at school, and she loved all of her students, even the ones who caused trouble. Miss Jones is the definition of compassion. On her bad days, she still made me feel special. She's one of the nicest, most loving people I've ever met. She tried her hardest to make us succeed. With it being my first year of high school, like most freshmen, it was a strange year. A new building, new faces, and some of the students even had beards and tattoos. Coming from a school that was kindergarten through 8th grade, and less than 300 students, it was hard to adjust. But because of Miss Jones, she made it easier. If you don't understand compassion, spend time with Miss Jones. She is the perfect role model. Nice words can be the difference of everything. We never know what the person next to us is dealing with. Sometimes nice words can be what saves them from making a really bad decision. The world needs compassion. Isaiah 5:20. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. I have seen what is good called evil, and what is evil called good, putting light for darkness and sweet for bitter. Speaking in anger is not good. Today we live by this verse, taking all evil for good. If we can show compassion, we can make the world a better place.
What does compassion mean to me? It means to me that a human being is part of the whole called by us universe. A part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest. All he ever wanted was to reach out and to touch another human being, but not with just with his hands, but with his heart. Those who make compassion part of their life find the joy of life. A famous writer once said, "To love our enemy is impossible. The moment we understand our enemy, we feel compassion towards him or her, and he or she is no longer our enemy." There are some kids who have been hurt and abused. We need to give them hope and love. Treat people the way that you want to be treated. Let our hearts and hands be stretched out in compassion towards others, for everyone is walking his or her own difficult path. Always be there for someone. Always be a helping hand or a listening ear. Prove that compassion still exists. If you see someone falling behind, walk beside them. If you see someone being ignored, find a way to include them. If someone has been knocked down, lift them up. Always tell people they are loved. Compassion is the wish to see others free from suffering. There will always be a reason why you meet new people. Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for compassion. We are all different. Don't judge. Understand instead. Go in. Show someone hope and love. Compassion is to look beyond your own pain to see others' pain. The purpose of life is to serve and to show compassion and the will to help others. Compassion is just an action word with no boundaries.
Compassion. People see compassion as many different things and meanings. Some see it as quotes or something that happened or influenced them in life some way or somehow. The internet definition for compassion is sympathetic pity and concern for others and their situation. Honestly, everyone has their own definition for compassion. I see it as sympathy or understanding of others and their situation. No one really knows anyone's situation or what they are going through. That's why we shouldn't judge others. We are not God. God knows everyone's situation and why they do things or act the way they do. In the Bible, in John 8:7, it says, Jesus said, "So when they continued asking him, he lifted himself up and said unto them, He that has no sin among you, let him cast a stone at her." Saying that proves that none are perfect. And Jesus had compassion for the lady and saved her life that day. And Jesus is the ultimate example for compassion. Not all the time it will be a life or death situation. It can be someone had a bad night or made a bad grade on something that meant a lot to them. But if we show more compassion to others, that may be the only happiness they have had in a long time. Whenever you see someone, they could be hiding all their pain behind a smile, and a smile back could be all it takes. Could be the only time they also experience true happiness that day or in a long time. I'm not saying that only others should use more compassion, but I should, because I want to be the best I can in life, and compassion plays a major role in life. It gives people hope and helps people through the day, and it causes people to see more in you. This is compassion from my standpoint.
Compassion, a word not thought of much, but just done. Do we have sympathy, pity, and concern for the sufferings of others' misfortunes, or do we sometimes as human abuse this meaning? Or sometimes the image of just self-pity, or read a double meaning? Take a match for an example. A match could be what you strike to start a fire, light things like words and emotions. Or could it be a word to describe a battle, like a fair or unfair match of life? Words and emotions are sometimes battles we often face in life. Some people can't defeat those battles. Have you ever heard of met your match? Well, have you ever met your match per se? You can't expect sympathy or feeling sorry for yourself or compassion. You have to keep pushing, get back up on your feet from your defeat, practice, learn from your mistakes, train yourself to never meet your match again. You cannot ask for compassion from people. It's willingly given. You can't sit and wait for compassion in your life. You will meet fear, heartbreak, loneliness, and evil. Are you going to let them defeat you? If so, then you're ignorant and you don't care. Think of your mom, for example. One time she was pregnant. What did she do? She addressed the situation, took care of it, and kept pushing. Can't you do the same? Never give up. Yes, I admit this world lacks compassion. But does someone feeling sorry for you help? Does it make you feel better? Or is it just to get attention and recognition? What good is compassion for? Compassion does not need to be looked over, but it needs to be reinforced and used more often. You could also use it as just recognition, like to let someone know that you're there for them when they need you and that you understand what they're going through. Too often people get caught up in emotions and fear, and they look for something to heal their pain and heartbreak. So sometimes they pop pills, smoke dope, snort coke, when maybe some more compassion to stop all this overdose. Some people lead to cutting themselves. Some people just want someone that will listen, wait for them when they need it. Is that so hard to do? You see, 9 times out of 10, people will react based off of emotions, because emotions are what trigger reactions. The other 1/10 of reactions are logical. We need to come together, unite as one, and show more compassion so we can stop all this hurt and pain built up inside.
Compassion. It's a noun. It means sympathetic pity and concern for the sufferings or misfortunes of others. Compassion is an emotion that many people nowadays lack. There are not very many people left today who care about anyone but themselves anymore. If it doesn't benefit me, then who does it benefit? Compassion is something your mother should encourage while you are growing up, but she cannot simply teach it to you. You must learn gratitude and compassion on your own by following her examples. You must also learn that not everyone who seems resilient and happy is always that way behind closed doors. It's 2019. Suicide rates are the highest they've ever been. Which age group has the most lives taken? People aged between 15 to 24. That's our age group. Why are suicide rates so high? You might ask. Let me tell you some lies so that it won't seem so bad. No one bullied that 16-year-old male who fell from 8 stories high. Everyone reached out with compassion in their hearts for the girl that starved herself every day to be perfect. No, not then and not now. If only the world was taught to treat others with enough kindness and compassion as is needed, maybe those teens would still be here. Being compassionate starts now. There will be no more being mean to the girl in the back of the class who, little do you know, her mom is struggling to breathe every day. You will open your eyes and heart and realize that she needs you, regardless of if you know why or why not. You will no longer point out the bad in people. You will try and introduce them to all of the good that you know about. Compassion is a worldwide struggle. for young and for old. Open your heart up to someone picked on or for being out of the ordinary. For goodness sake, are you really all that perfect to be judging everyone else like you are? I will answer that for you with no, because everyone goes through things. If you don't, then chances are you are just ignoring life in general. Please, if I may ask you, don't be rude to others. You aren't them and you don't know what they are going through. Even if you do know, chances are it is really not any of your business to begin with, and it would probably help them a lot more if you didn't bother them. Throughout life, you'll have optimal times to be nice to someone or to help someone out. Only a few chances will you have to be compassionate towards someone who really needs it.